You're glowing. Is that a rave over there or something? This If you've ever told someone the only place for a powder keg is on the enemy ship, but you still put them in the crow's nest, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I start off the day noticing we have a Reaper 5 in the middle of the map doing the Skelly fleet, so I make my way over to check out the situation. On my way over, I noticed a galley, and I figured even if I can gank the Reaper, I'm not likely to solo that Skelly fleet depending on how far along the Reaper is, so I launched myself over for a parlay for a possible alliance. They didn't seem interested, but I got some good info on them anyway, should I need to fight them. As I started getting close, I could see the party up ahead. Seeing that things are about to get hot, my son joins me to help even the odds. I noticed that the previous galley is still looking around and that Reaper ship has a familiar name. It was the same crew we ran into in my previous video, and it looks like we have an opportunity to even the score. Launching ourselves into the chaos, we fought the brick crew as well as the Skelly ships. We prioritized dropping the mast, which allowed us the space to repair and come back while the Skelly ships maintained sink pressure. In the end, there was really no way to escape our revenge. As soon as we finished off the brig crew, our old friends from the galley showed up. We faked a retreat in order to entice the galley into looting the brig and Skelly ship's remains, but they were absolutely dead set on chasing us. For 20 minutes, they unsuccessfully chased my son and I until a Skelly galley and a Skelly sloop joined the chase. And once the storm came through, along with those 3 ships, our fate was sealed. Or was it? Remember when I said the galley chased my son and I?
I lied.
You see, after the galley showed that it was not going to let off the chase, my son dropped off at the Reaper's hideout where there was a rowboat. So during this lengthy chase, my son wasn't on board with me. He was in fact gathering the loot while I took the galley for a ride. A ride that they didn't even survive. We decided to sell the Reapers since we had some emissary flags in the pile of loot and we were nearby. On my next server run, I started off by leveling up my gold hoarder emissary and some general adventuring. But it wouldn't take me long to discover there was a rather aggressive brig operating in my area. As I was about to discover, this brig had the server looking out for it. Truly, it was blessed. As I was about to ambush the brig, a Skelly ship spawned on me. The opportunity to safely kill them before they had a chance to sail and they're all gone, I decided to leave them be so I could follow up on them later. But just to be sure I wouldn't think about going back to the brig, the server tossed a Skelly sloop and a Megalodon at me at the same time. So after taking way too long finding the key, I arrive at my first vault, where now my son has joined me. We successfully sell our haul and immediately spot the brig nearby. So we set an intercept course. The brig crew seems pretty hesitant, unwilling to come engage us on our own terms. It goes and stops by the fort with us not very far. Seeing an opportunity to move in from the far side of the fort, we make sail to close in with our prey. As we were closing in, of course, this brig is blessed and the server continues to look after it by throwing us a kraken in plain sight. For some reason, however, the brig decides not to attack us while this was happening. I guess they either forgot about us or didn't expect us to finish kraken that fast. We were on them 3 minutes later and had caught them apparently by surprise. It didn't go well. But it didn't take them long to make their way back to us. While navigating for position, they decided to curse us out in Spanish to add a little bit of spice to the mix. Having fought them before, we liked our odds. The fight was methodical, even if it was one-sided. Once we managed to knock down their main mast, the fight was about ready to be over. But despite this, the server couldn't help but throw one more obstacle with a mermaid attempting to prevent me to board. In the end, it wasn't enough. On this next run, I decided to focus a little bit more on PvP. You don't get better at something unless you do it, right? Waking up, I immediately spawn to the side of a red skull in the sky, and I spot 3 ships near it, assuming that there's a fight going on. I sail my way to get there before the fun is over, figuring they'd be putting holes in each other, so I decided to try and just launch myself over to maximize the chaos. But very quickly, I realized they were all allied with one another. Normally, I'm perfectly okay with allying with others, but since I started out wanting PvP and the server giving me a target-rich environment, I decided the experience was worth more than any potential ally gold. As soon as I saw that they were done with the fort, I sailed in. It appears, however, that one of the sloops was tasked to keep me away while the others collected the loot. Wanted to play smart, I drew the sloop out, where for once, the Skelly ship spawned on someone else for a change. As soon as the sloop was forced to contend with the Skelly sloop, I beelined it right to the stopped ships. Now, I am not great at PvP, and I was even less so at this point, so I have no illusions as to how well this fight was going to go. The entire time, I wasn't planning on putting any reasonable expectations on winning the fight. Until With the brig sunk and one of the sloops preoccupied far away, I realized this fight was perfectly winnable. I thought the second sloop was trying to reposition or run away, but it seems that he was just trying to meet up with his ally, who was on his way to sell the loot he had on board. Not tolerating any of this nonsense, the server blessed me again with yet another skelly sloop ally. With the second sloop preoccupied, I pressured the original sloop now docked. His ally finishes the skelly sloop pretty fast and comes back. I contend with him and then proceed back to the docks where I catch the survivors of the now sunk sloop rowboating their way to the docks. After dispatching the rowboat, I go in for the finish and maintain pressure until the ship is sunk. As I start to get ready to collect the loot, I notice this little loot goblin hanging around. Once that's dealt with, I collect the loot nearby, go back to the fort to collect the loot from the brig that I sank and made about 50k on that run. Sure, there was gold, but the real prize was the friends we made along the way. For those of you who have way more experience than me, please feel free to drop any tips down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and hit subscribe to catch my continued journey to Pirate Legend. Until next time, good hunting.